This is not small talk. This is not watered down. This is Talking Black and Current, where black culture meets what's happening right now. We're talking the headlines they rush past, the stories they don't explain, and the conversations they'd rather avoid. Politics, culture, money, media, power. But from our perspective, no spin, no code switching, no permission needed. Just real conversations, real experiences, and real truth about what affects us today.
I'm coming in hot. Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now.
Check it out.
It's hot.
They don't teach you that respect is more valuable than money. Money comes and goes, it flows, it disappears. But respect stays in the room even when you leave it. Respect makes people think twice before they cross you. Respect is built in silence, in discipline, in how you carry yourself when nobody's watching. You see, loud men chase attention, but powerful men, they don't need to speak much. Their presence does the talking. That's power. Next, they don't teach you about pressure. Real pressure, not exams, not deadlines. I'm talking about the kind of pressure that forces you to choose between comfort and growth. The kind where your back is against the wall and there's no one coming to save you. That's where a man is forged. That's where you find out if you're built for this or if you were just pretending. Because anybody can look strong when life is easy, but only a few can stay composed when everything starts falling apart. Next, they don't teach you that loyalty has a price, and most people can't afford it. Everybody says they're loyal until it costs them something. Until it costs time, money, comfort, opportunities. That's when people switch. That's when masks fall off. So you have to learn. Never build your life on words, build it on patterns. Watch what people do, not what they say. Because a man who understands patterns can never be surprised. They don't teach you about solitude. See, most people are afraid to be alone because when it gets quiet, they have to face themselves, their thoughts, their fears, their lack of direction. But solitude, that's where clarity lives. That's where you sharpen your mind, where you build your vision, where you become dangerous in a quiet way. The strongest men in history, they spent time alone. Not because they had no options, but because they understood you can't lead others if you can't sit with yourself. They don't teach you that emotions unchecked will ruin your life.
Right.
Anger will make you reckless. Desperation will make you weak. Attachment will make you blind. A man must feel, but he must never lose control. Control your emotions, or your emotions will control your decisions, and your decisions will control your life. That's why the most powerful men look calm, even when there's chaos around them. It's not that they don't feel, it's that they've mastered what they feel. Next, they don't teach you that the world doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. You can try hard all you want. You can struggle, you can complain, but at the end of the day, nobody hands out trophies for almost winning. That's a harsh truth, but it's a necessary one. Because once you understand that, you stop making excuses and you start making moves. You become precise, intentional, ruthless with your time. And most importantly, they don't teach you that nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the system. You can get support, sure, but at the end of the day, it's you. Your decisions, your discipline, your mindset, that's what builds your life. That's what defines your name. So you have two choices. You either sit around waiting for permission, or you take control and write your own story.
Right now.
Right now. Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. Right now.
Check it out.
It's hot.
Summer, stop! Voila!
No one making noise, man.
Shawty fucking puppy, the president of Pluto.
Desperado, many, Balotelli, ladies taking me photo. Paparazzi, Don Julio, Don Diami, Egumedo, lao, ni pestas ao lao, azametra lao, ne lao, Egumedo, lao, ni pestas ao lao, azametra lao, ni yo lao, yeah, lao, yeah, yo lao, yeah, lao.
I'm ready to stay. My God be my witness. Me and you not get to business. I take my kindness for weakness. Softly, you no go tear my singlet. Oh, boo, challenge. No, they joke with my.
Hey, y'all welcome to the show.
What it do?
Welcome to the show. Yeah, man. We got a good one today. We got a good one today. Nope. Got definitely a good one today. We're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna go in deep. So I hope everybody got their scuba gear. Get your scuba gear ready. So we going in deep.
Yeah, I filled my tank up last night.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did
I filled
you
it
fill
up.
your tank up?
Yeah, the gauge full. The gauge on full right now.
Oh man, put that. Now we're not talking about the Seagrams. Now we ain't talking about that Seagram. Don't put that Seagram down.
We ain't talking about that. How about that 1737? I mean 38.
Don't put that down. Don't put that down.
Well, I get the other tank then.
Yeah. Get the other tank. Not that tank. Well, I mean, shoot, this is what? It's Saturday. Shoot, hey, don't and hope both of them full. Cause you're gonna definitely empty one of them. That's for sure. That's a for sure right on. That's what it was.
What you say? Not the for sure right on.
Yeah, that's a for sure right on.
And that's almost worse than my 4 day in the morning. Then that's.
What's say that Spears saying that's a for sure right on.
Oh man.
No,
listen.
We got one today, man. We got one today. If y'all been seeing the promos, man, we've been talking about, black men, pressure, perception, or reality. And just saying that right there, that's a lot to unpack. Just that alone.
Yeah,
when
it is.
When somebody say black man, pressure, perception, or reality, what's the first thing came to your mind?
I mean, just the pressure alone. So when it comes to a black man, just how can I say it? The expectation alone. Just the expectation of what we supposed to produce, how we supposed to produce, how we supposed to act, and then you can divide that up in many rooms. How we supposed to act at home, how we supposed to act towards our woman, how we supposed to act in the conference room, how we supposed to act, even on our jobs and depending on what type of careers we have, it's just the expectation. So that's the pressure every day, So when you say that, it's like you got many different realms of the expectations on how we supposed to be, period, of what people think we supposed to be.
I mean, just you saying the expectation alone, that's that, like you say, that's a lot to unpack. Just the expectation. Where is it written? Where is it written that that we as black men, uh here's the Bible. Here's the black man's Bible. This is what we have to abide by. Here's a set of rules. Here's the do's and don'ts. Where is it written um, that this is what we have to adhere to?
A lot of that is passed down. You
Right,
know, you
right.
know what
So
I'm saying? It's
there's no script.
yeah.
This is
And
what.
everybody has a different script,
Yeah,
depends on how you was raised and what area you was raised in, what demographic you was raised in, what culture you was raised in. So every script is different.
every script. There is no carbon copy.
No.
And to your point, there is no carbon copy. But black men are often expected to be strong, to be fearless, uh, to be providers, to be protectors, to be leaders. But rarely do we talk about the pressure, what that pressure actually feels like. We we yeah, rarely do we talk about that. That's why I asked, where is it written? Where's the Bible? Where's the script? Where's we can say a couple shows ago that Wikipedia. Where is where's the dictionary that's gonna lay the foundation to say, hey, I want to black
So it's no script. And I think that's a lot of times what gets us messed up. A lot of times, when we listen to Uncle Larry because, Uncle Larry has, made some type of achievement somewhere or he's the man and, we listen to Uncle Larry because that's all we know. And he says, okay, well, as a man, you don't cry. Men don't cry. Men
right.
don't, men, they suck it up and keep going.
Yeah.
You know, men, as a man, and even down to, we always say, a happy wife, happy life, all that kind of stuff, and Uncle Larry passes all that stuff down and then we pass it down to our kids and our young men and women, or young men that we're fathered to. So, it's really no script other than, just heritage.
Right.
And but like you said, we never talk about what that pressure feels like, what that expectation feels like, because a lot of times, we want to break down. A lot of times we want to get in a corner and say, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
What the hell did I get into, or and all of that. So with that being said, we do have to bounce back. We do have to be resilient, as we talked about. But that resiliency comes with a price,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
We sit there and like you said something. Now, oftentimes we want to give up. We want to, like, it's and I don't think uh folks understand. And I say, when I say folks, I'm gonna say women, or um a younger generation, a younger male that's growing up, to
Hmm.
understand the amount of pressure or the amount of weight that's going to be put on your back. The word that you use, and I think that summed it up, is the expectation from a man. Is the expectation that sums everything up, because they have so much. uh we're expected to do so much. I'd say that we're expected to carry so much. But we, like I said, we don't talk about the what that pressure actually feels like. Society stereotypes black men. Media portrays black men, and the communities depend on black men. You see how that went? Like
Yeah.
the community depends on the black man. But how often do black men get space to just be human? And we're gonna talk about that today in this show, and it's called Black Men. Want folks to put that in their system, let it register. Black men, pressure, perception, or reality. Okay, it ain't and understand this. There's no shade, right? There's no gender wars. There's no internet debates. I just want to make that clear. This is just truth, and what better truth to hear it from than two black men? Okay. Now I do want to take this time. I do want to take some time out. Not right now, but I want some folks to listen. I do want to take some time out because I want to hear from a woman's perspective. I want to hear from a woman's perspective. And just listen first. I need you to listen first. And that's talking to the women that's listening. I need you to listen first. Just listen to what we're laying on the table. Listen to what we're laying on the table, because what we're laying on the table is valuable. It's a vulnerable state right now that we're in, that black men are in. So we're laying it on the table. We want you to understand. And oftentimes, and something just came to my head, was and just give me your perspective on it. Is when you tell when you often just open up and say, hey babe, XYZ ABC, and you telling your significant other, whoever, how you feel. You're going into that place where you don't touch. You're telling them how you feel, and oftentimes they think that dictates a rebuttal. It doesn't dictate a rebuttal.
No.
I'm just telling you. It's not a debate. I'm telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Because oftentimes when we expose what I would call our softer points of our life, and where things are we feel not necessarily going wrong, but what we feel like is a concern to us.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like you said, we're not really. It doesn't take a rebuttal. We're not looking for a rebuttal, because 9 times out of 10, like we basically ran this system through our whole brain before we even came to you.
Already.
We ran this system through. So this is us, what I'm saying, sharing a piece of our existence, our essence as a man, to kind of regain a little safe space, you know. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, and the reason why we do that is because we know that you are the better half of us. And it's, we don't necessarily want a rebuttal. We want a safe space and a support space. Now, the other part to that is we also looking for that softer insight that we don't have.
Yeah.
Because we're wired different.
Yeah.
You know, and I would never say that, a black man don't need that strong sister behind him to say, hey, babe, I hear what you're saying, and this is my feedback to what I'm hearing you say. Not necessarily a rebuttal, but as a support, critique, or whatever you want to call it. But that's us just giving you our softer side and said, okay, these are my concerns. However, remember now, I've already ran this play through my head. So I just want to create this safe space for me and you so that you can understand what your man got going on right here.
That's it. That's it. And to your point, it's them saying, like you say, that strong black woman saying, "Hey, I hear you," and repeating it. And what that does is that affirm that lets me know that you heard what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And because you repeated it back, tells me that you understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It don't have to be a debate. Oh, well, it doesn't have to be a debate. That's not what that is for. That's me telling you, voicing me, going into what you say, that soft space, and letting you know that this is where I'm feeling right now. And because we as black men, we don't get on the phone and gossip and say, well, I'm gonna say I don't get on the phone and gossip.
Yeah, we don't. It's like 2 minute conversations. You know how we do.
Yeah. But that is a woman's outlet. A woman's outlet could they call a girl and girl, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Call it, hey, boy, let me tell you what happened.
Nah.
It just don't flow right. It don't flow right. To me. That don't flow right to me. So we don't do that. So we don't have that outlet. So we find other avenues to decompress. We find other avenues. Sometimes we just need that, like you say, go in the corner, just be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Be by ourselves, run the play through our head. Hold on, wait a minute, back up. That's an interception. Let's go back. Let's try it. Let's go back. We can run those plays through our head before we actually, act on it. So, we can visualize it, and then, it will go. But we're the conversation right now for some folks that join. We're talking about the conversations about masculinity, and the conversations about masculinity is everywhere. Again, the title is Black Men: Pressure, Perception, or Reality. So the conversation about masculinity is everywhere. You see it on social media. You hear it on relationship podcasts. You see it on dating discussions. You see it in culture debates about roles, expectations that C-Note use, and identity. And black men are often at the center of these conversations, but rarely controlling the narrative. You know what I'm saying? So instead, they're being discussed, they're being judged, we're being analyzed, or in some parts being defended, but not always listened to.
Mm-hmm.
So when voices aren't heard, assumptions usually take place. Am I right about that?
Yep.
So many black men grow up hearing the same message. C-Note, you touched on it. Hearing the same message over and over again. Be strong. Don't cry. Provide. Protect. Don't fail. Don't show weakness. Handle it. That's your job. Handle it. That's your job. Handle it.
And not only that, the thing is, not only we hear it, but the women hear it too. So the women hear the same thing. So that's their expectation. The expectation is, well, and not saying that the expectation is not wrong, but we talking about the pressures. We talking about the expectation. Sure. Not only do we hear it, the women hear it too. So growing up, you have the moms and the dads even tell them, say, hey, if that man can't provide for you, he ain't the one. If that man can't do this, then he ain't the one.
Yeah.
If that man can't do that. So the expectation comes out where, not saying that, is wrong, but we're talking about the expectation and the pressures and the perception of the black man. So where do we have a crossroad? We have a crossroad when the black man himself has challenges within his family. You know, it's not like sometimes you have the white people they inherit money. You know, so you have the black man that comes from a place where his family didn't inherit money. You know, he had to work for everything he get. He come from the muck. He come from the mud. He's coming up, and the expectation versus the reality applies the pressure. How many times you had a guy with and I could speak from my own experience. You had somebody with so much potential, but his circumstances was totally different than who he really was.
Right.
And now the pressure is applied because he meets someone who's amazing. He meets someone who's who's supportive. He meets someone who has that expectation. You have all these qualities, but you can't provide right now. Now applies the pressure. And I'm going to let you get that.
No, you spot on because the thing about it is we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Last month we talked about this. All that I mentioned, you know, those all those expectations. Be strong, handle it. It's your job. Even to your point, from a women's, the women hear it. Those messages are often meant to build resilience, but but folks don't understand that ain't the final stop. Is resilience? Yeah, is often is meant to build it, but ain't the final stop. But resilience without emotional support can create a silent struggle, right? Because strength becomes performance instead of wellness. Many black men are taught early that vulnerability is dangerous. So I can say from my mom, just being around women, or older women in the family, that vulnerability is dangerous if we are um, if we expose that or show that vulnerability. That's dangerous because that shows a weakness. It's dangerous in the streets. It's dangerous in the workplace. It's dangerous in relationships. It's dangerous even with family sometimes.
Yep.
That vulnerability is dangerous. So instead of it expressing emotion, we bury them.
Yep.
Right? And the buried emotions, they don't disappear. We just put a Band-Aid over it. We just put a mask over it. We just covered it up. So they don't disappear. And you know what shows up behind those emotions? The stress.
Yep. Yeah. Oftentimes, when the stress shows up, we get in a place of seclusion, and like oftentimes, because I've been in a situation where, even to drive home, no radio, no music. I just need to think over some things because of what done happened and what done took place either at work or wherever I was, or sometimes just reevaluating myself, like, okay, did I do anything wrong in this situation? And it's like, and we talking about like real black men, like that's actually that we, number one, we care about our environment, we care about ourselves, we care about our legacy. And I don't say that the younger men don't think about that. I do think they think about that. However, they think about it in a different light because they was either one, raised different, or They had different challenges, but some of the same challenges at the same time. And I think the mindset of just say our generation and the younger generation is totally different. So, but back to the point and back to what we're talking about, just that the pressure and knowing that, okay, we have to produce. And like you said, the performance in itself becomes stress because we have to perform because of the expectation. They said, hey, you're supposed to be doing this, black man. This is how you're supposed to be doing this. This is how you're supposed to be running this. And we expect the best out of you. We're expecting top shelf. You know what I'm saying? You're not. And if you rock gut liquor, you know what I'm saying? You're gone. You're supposed to be top shelf.
Yeah.
So there applies the pressure. The pressure comes, and then we get secluded, and we get to the point where we want to be to ourselves, and sometimes we become a certain person that even our significant other can't even recognize anymore. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's great points. Those are great points. Because I just want to pause real quick to the listeners. I want the audience perspective. Give me your perspective. I need a man perspective, and I need a woman's perspective. I hear you clicking over there, C note. I need a man and a woman's perspective. And so what I'm gonna lay on the line right now is from a man's perspective, what pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? What pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? That's one question. And the second question is, when do you feel most supported? It's two questions. First one, what pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? Second question, man's perspective, is when do you feel most supported? Okay, you can drop that in the chat. And we're going to talk about it. Now, from a woman's perspective, I need the women to listen up. The woman perspective. What do you think black men need more support in? What do you think black men need more support in? Now, those two questions, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna bring that up at the end of the show. I got one more question for my woman's perspective. One more from a woman's perspective. What is something you admire about a black man that doesn't get enough recognition? What is something you admire about a black man that doesn't get enough recognition? Two questions for both. Yeah, for both a man perspective and a woman's perspective. I need a woman perspective. That's what I need. Okay? Those that just joined, I'm going to say it again. I need a man's perspective. We're talking about black men, pressure, perception, or reality. Okay? And I need a man's perspective. Man's perspective. You got two brothers right here. We can talk all day about it. But I need a man's perspective and I need a woman's perspective. You can drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments, and we're going to talk about it. The first one for the men is, what pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? What pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? Second question for the men, from men perspective, is, when do you feel most supported? First question for the women is, what do you think men need more support in? Second question for the women is, what is something you admire about a black man that doesn't get enough recognition? Now, We're talking about black men. So when emotions, when we bury emotions, they don't disappear. They show up as stress. They show up as anger. They show up as withdrawal. They show up as depression or feeling disconnected from the people that they love. That pressure is heavy, especially when society expects a black man to carry it quietly. Media versus reality. Let's talk about how the black man are often portrayed. See, no. Media frequently shows black men in extreme, a lot like athletes, entertainers, the criminal, right? That hyper masculine figure, the emotional, unavailable partner. That's that now. That's media versus reality. But real black men exist in thousands of identities that rarely get spotlight. Okay, they not all of them are athletes, entertainers, criminals, emotional unavailable partners. Black men, fathers raising children with patience and love. Black men navigating corporate spaces while managing bias. Black men building businesses from scratch. Black men working multiple jobs just to support their family. Black men fighting eternal battles nobody sees. It's trauma you was talking about last week, at trauma. When media limits representation, it limits understanding. I'm gonna pause because I know I said a lot right here. C-Note. Listen, waiting on those replies, waiting on some women to tap in, waiting on some men to tap in. Okay, on those questions. I drop more questions. I need those questions answered. But when they don't understand, C-Note, that it limits the understanding, and when the understanding is limited, stereotypes grow louder than the reality. Emotional isolation, and so you often think one of the most overlooked issues black men face is emotional isolation. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
We were talking about that emotional isolation. Many are taught to solve the problems alone. What'd you say? You're running that play by play going through your head. And that's what we often do, is run it play by play through our head before we actually say what we're gonna do, or before we actually act on something, right? And we often solve the problems not because we want to. Not because we want to do that. Opening up can be risky. Talk about that vulnerability. Opening up can be risky when you've been taught your entire life that showing emotion equals losing respect.
Yeah. So I'm a talk on another side of that too. And not only did we was taught that, but even in experience, when we have opened up, and when we have, in our younger self, a lot of times we've opened up without the discernment. We open up to the wrong people, and got burned by that. So a lot of times we because a lot of behavior is learned behavior. A lot of behavior is from experience as a man, as a black man. So we learn to keep those things held in, because we know if we get too vulnerable, if we put too much out there, then there's somebody out there that's gonna burn us. Yep. And we've learned that throughout experience and learning who to trust, sometimes becomes a task in itself, and and that's the pressure within the pressure. Learning who to trust, learning who we can be vulnerable with. So, with that being said, I just wanted to talk on the other side of that, because I know from experience, just opening up to certain people. I remember, becoming a young leader, leading certain people. I had some personal issues that was going on. However, I neglected that to be a leader because of the expectation that I had, and I had to perform, and I neglected my own personal issues. And one time I actually came out with it, and just said it and exposed, hey, I've been dealing with this, and I've been trying to take care of this for you guys, and this and that. And I remember a guy looked me dead in my face and said, that sounds like a personal problem. And with that being said to me, and that was said to me by another black man.
Wow.
And being that was said to me, I then realized at that point, okay, I'm going to have to run these plays by myself. I'm not going to get no support. I'm not going to get, somebody that says, okay, well, let's kind of help you with this, or pull me to the side and says, hey, I got some resources, or I know some resources, and I know some people who could, help you with that. The man looked at me and said, that sounds like a personal problem. And at that point, that's what it became. It became my personal pressure. It became my personal agenda. And I knew at that point I couldn't release that to anybody else, because I didn't trust anybody else to release it to. So, but the perception still remained that I had to be strong. The perception still remained that I had to figure shit out. It still remained that you the guy.
Yeah,
that didn't change.
Yeah, the road didn't change. You just had to, you had some. You caught a flat tire. You had to get out and fix it, and get out and fix it and keep it moving.
Right. I didn't even have no fixer flat.
You ain't had no fixer flat. So, and that's the thing. So, but just opening up, we got a guest on, and she's gonna give us from a woman's perspective. Now, I put on two questions from the men, two questions from the women. I said, from the men, what pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? That's the first question. Second question for the men is, when do you feel most supported? Now, that's for the men. And I need the men to chime in, put in your comments. Now, from a woman's perspective, two questions for you. First question is, what do you think black men need more support in? Okay. What do you think black men need support in? That's question number one. Question number two is, what is something you admire about a black man that does not get enough recognition? That's the second question. And watch this. And because we hear him from a woman's perspective, I want to tap in and call on a friend and bring a friend in on this thing. And we're going to talk about it.
Dial a friend.
Dial a friend. We're going to dial a friend, and we're going to talk about this. And we're going to bring in my good friend. Come on in here, girl. Come on in here. Hey, how you doing?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear us?
I can't hear you guys. Give me one moment. I'm trying to fix my... Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can hear you.
I cannot hear any of you. I'm trying to fix my my audio. Give me just a moment.
Get that fixed. Let me know. Just give me a cuckoo when you're ready, and we'll bring you on back in. Give me a cuckoo when you're ready. But yeah, from a woman's perspective, we're gonna talk about what do you think black men need more support in, and then the second one is, what is something you admire about a black man that does not get enough recognition? And so okay, hey, oh, okay, Everton, this is what I need you to do, Everton. What pressure do you feel that people don't talk about as a black man? And the second question is, what or when do you feel most supported? I need you to answer those two for me. Okay? You get that together. Come on back, holler at us. Okay? Yeah, so we were talking about that emotional isolation that is overlooked because you know what we're taught is to, like I said, solve our problems on our own, and it's not because we want to, but it's because they were never shown. We were never shown an option, right? Sino talked about that vulnerability. That how he got, he already judged from a person that looked like you.
Mm-hmm.
And if that don't cut deep, because we in this together. If that don't cut deep, I don't know what do. The other thing is, open up can feel risky when you've been taught your entire life to keep your emotional stuff to yourself because you'll lose respect. You good now? Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You sound loud and clear. You cooking with it? Cooking with grease.
We're
Loud
cooking
and
with grease
clear.
now.
We're gonna try
But
it
you
again.
have to give me your questions again.
Okay. The question is, from a woman's perspective, is the first thing is what do you think black men need more support in? That's the first one. The second question is, what is something that you admire about black men that does not get enough recognition? I'm gonna say it again because I see you taking notes. You're a note taker.
How you
You're a
know I'm
note taker.
taking notes?
You're a
We
note
we
taker.
see you taking the notes. Go ahead, write it down. Write it
What
down.
do you think black men need more support in? And the second one is, what is what is something you admire about a black man that does not get enough recognition? That's yours. That's yours right
You
there.
know,
She
here's what I'm
camera shy.
going
She
to
camera
say.
shy, y'all. She camera
Yeah,
shy. So
not the
I
camera
am. I
shy.
am
go
very
ahead.
camera shy,
Go
but
ahead.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
I
We
I have
listening.
opinions, so I'm happy to be able to share my opinions. So first of all, I want to see note Lex. I appreciate you guys for asking me the question, right, and having me here to answer it. So thank you. There is a narrative that says that black men don't want to be fathers and they don't want to be present parents. They don't want to be present fathers, and that is not my experience. That is not my experience with my children. I am a mother of four, and that's not my experience with my children, and that's not my experience with my own father, right? And I was born and raised in a Caribbean household in the Caribbean, and there is this narrative that is being purported even here in the United States. Again, I'm married to an American man who is a present father, and so I believe that that's the thing that I admire most. In the face of this narrative, there's still the majority of black men out there that want to be good fathers, want to be present parents in their children's lives, and I don't. that's what I admire most about the black men that I interact with, that I come in contact with on a daily basis. You know, I come in contact with you, Lex. I've come in contact with you, C Note. You know, I come in contact with so many black men on a daily basis, and these are men who do everything they can to be good parents. There is, in addition to my father, who's a parent role model, I would always pray and ask God as a kid, if you're gonna give me kids, give me a father like mine. And I swear to you, I think God heard me, and He did that. He gave me a partner that fathers like my dad fathered. There is a young man that I've known since I was about 18, and I've known him since I was about 18, but he's much older. He's about my sister's age, and he had 2 kids, and he has 2 children with, believe it or not, deadbeat mothers. That was my first time experiencing that, because again, the narrative that gets pushed is, black men are deadbeat dads and black men don't want to be fathers, and this man has been a stand-up father, doing everything he can to take care of his children, to ensure that his children have a better life, a better existence, a better experience in this world than he did. And those are the people that I've met. Those are the people that I've come in contact with. And those are the people that I admire. I admire that black men are able to stand up and be stand-up men, stand-up parents, present parents, even in the face of this narrative that gets taught to them as a child, that they have to live and exist in a space that teaches them this narrative. And for the men that, do not purport it and they do not live up to it, those are the ones that I truly admire. And it's one of those things that's not talked about. The black men that, in spite of, are able to succeed at being excellent parents and excellent fathers.
That's that. And you know what? And sorry to cut you off, but that's that resilience that we were talking about. We talked about resilience a couple of weeks ago. C Note and we talked about resilience. That's that resilience. But you know what? Resilience shouldn't be the end road, though. And that's that piece. Resilience shouldn't be the end road. We're known as resilience. We're known as, strong fighters. We're known as, like you say, stand up. We're known as that. But again, the resilience or the praise that we say, oh, you did good, that shouldn't be the end road. Where was my support? Where was that? Hey, where was that when I was getting knocked down? Sino said something earlier in the show, and it talked about just the title is Black Men, Pressure, Perception, or Reality, which is a lot to unpack just from that. And he said a word, because I asked the question, where's the book? Where's that book? Where's the script that we supposed to go by? Where's that assessment that we supposed to take to make sure that we got all our boxes checked? He said, expectation. The black man is expected to be provider, protector. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no exception to this rule. Right? See, you said the expectation.
Yeah. So that it's already an expectation from coming up, being raised, and like I said, not only does the black man hear it, growing up, I know I did. I mean, I was always told that, you ought to be a provider, you ought to be a protector, and not only that the women that was in my family, they heard the same thing. So, growing up and going out to the world as young adults, like, that's the expectation off rip, that's what we supposed to be, and is no negotiation on that. So with that pressure, even coming up, as she mentioned, like, even coming up, like, with the circumstances, in spite of, we get it done, and that's when the pressure is applied, because The pressure is I have to be this. The pressure is I have to provide. I have to be that protector. I have to be, and even in the face of adversity, I can't show my weakness.
Yeah.
You know, I can't show anybody that that I have a vulnerability. I can't show nobody that because I have to get this done. Now, in the process of becoming that, the sad part is you can't show any vulnerability because somebody's going to shoot you down, because you're not already at the plateau of being who that expectation has told you to be. So in order to get there, you have to be that cornerstone, so to speak, until you get to that place of, or that plateau of, you know, where you're supposed to be. And only then, when you get that, just say that special lady or that support system or your significant other or your wife that has opened up that safe space for you to be able to do that. And a lot of times it's far few between. We don't get those often. So
Yep, that is so true. Um, you know, this is this is this is this is true for all men, but I think it's especially true. Especially true for black men, and their experience is that they're only as valuable as what they can provide, right? You know, we see and we hear, we go through social media, we see the narrative, we hear, the narrative of, what do you bring to the table? That is a question that is asked of black men more than it is asked of any other race.
yeah,
And sad to say, it might be us. We do that, right? Us as
Yeah.
black women, we
Yeah.
we lead with that question. What do you bring to the table? So immediately, what happens is for our black men, for our black brothers, their they attach their worth to what they can bring to the table, and if they're
yeah,
not able to provide, then they're not worthy, right? And that's because a big a big part of our society shapes their experience like that. They immediately start off with the question, what do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
And so that question doesn't leave much space for a trying man. It doesn't leave much space for somebody that falls on hard times. It doesn't leave much space for that. And that's something that we have to address within ourselves. Uh, and that brings me to where I think our black men needs more support. Our black men need support in not there's a lot of talk around mental health and the
Mhm.
mental health of black men, and definitely we definitely need to support our black men and support their emotions and their feelings, and that they are worthy to have that. But more than anything else, I think we need to kind of drill down a little deeper into the mental health, and we need to talk about their worth. How do you perceive your worth? Why can't we be the ones to champion and support a black man? Because strength is in us, right? Strength is in a black man. He is born that way,
Yeah.
right? From our ancestors, that is in a black man, to be strong, to
Yep.
be resilient. There goes that word again, right? It
Yeah.
is in a black man, innate for them to be strong and resilient. No matter what your culture or creed, it is in us as
Yeah.
black people. So it's in
Yeah.
our black men to be resilient, to be strong, and we have to find a way to ensure that our black men, even the black sons that we're raising, they understand that you're worthy regardless of what's in your bank account. You're worthy regardless of what you're able to give and to provide materially. Because if we are not able to kind of to raise men that understand that your worth is attached to much more than that material thing, then we're going to continue to just to do society a disservice, because we have a lot of those. We have a lot of men who they attach their worth to a material, physical thing, and then they don't do the work on the inside. And that's where I feel like we can support our black men better.
Definitely appreciate that. And you touched on something.
it's
And
facts.
yeah, you touched on something that I thought about. Two things. the what can you bring to the table? Oftentimes, when you're, if there's no courting anymore, um, it, that's out the door. There's no dating, get to know you anymore. It's to your point. What you said is, uh, what I have to think about. What can I do for you? C Note touched on it too. He says, um, that's what the women are hearing, or the females are hearing. Black females are hearing on their end is from the parents. Oh, you know, can he provide for you? Can he protect for you? What type of what does he work? What kind of job he got?
Yep. What does he do for a living?
Yeah, what does he do
How
for a
much does
living?
he make?
That all of
That's
that is at the top,
Yep.
not the mental
Before we
state to your
ask
opponent.
about before
There
we
you
ask
go.
about what's his relationship like with his God,
With God.
before we
Yes.
ask about what's his
Yes.
relationship like with himself, how does he love himself,
Yeah.
how can he show up for you, how can he love you? And so we remove the worth away from the things that truly matter, because it is those relationships, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your God, your
Yeah.
relationship with your family,
Yeah.
those are the things that will create the true provider. And a lot of people don't even understand that,
The,
right? It
the
is once you're developed there, you won't have a choice but to provide for your family and your girl and your kids. You won't have a choice but to do that when you're built that way.
now, so let's go. Let's fast forward. Now let's fast forward. Uh, we're dating. We're in a relationship. We're married. This, that, and other. And men, and see, we talked about this earlier. Is men oftentimes has a playbook in their head, and that playbook is that soft spot, that softness that's in us. So yeah, masculinity, we're masculine, this, that, and other, but we also have a soft spot, and that soft spot becomes becomes vulnerable at times. And how we test that vulnerability out is this: if we come to you and say, "Hey, babe, you know, this is how I'm feeling," because we don't have an outlet. And when I say we don't, we do, but we don't. And when I say we do, but we don't have an outlet because we are taught, like you say, to be strong.
And
That all that
and
all
we're
that stuff
taught
you
that
said.
that's the only quality you can have. Be strong and provide.
Yeah.
That's the only quality you should have.
Now the other piece, that soft spot, sometimes becomes vulnerable, sometimes becomes risky. Because if I tell you this, I'm laying it all on the line, and oftentimes, oftentimes it's turned against me.
Yep.
Oftentimes, and so now that I know that I've already did this one time, I'm not
You're
going to
not
do
doing it
it again.
again.
So I'm gonna keep it within me. So when we talk about that becoming risky, emotion equals losing respect. When we become emotional, that becomes losing respect. So stress becomes private, pain becomes private, fear becomes private, and unfortunately, you spoke on it. The mental health statistic continues to reflect that silence. So I oftentimes, if I go to if I I'm going if you go to your if a man go to his significant other and go to that soft spot, they're they're not looking for debate. They're not looking for a rebuttal. They're
Sometimes
not
they don't
looking
even want an opinion.
that right. They don't want none of that. What they
They just
want
want you to
is
hear
you to
them.
that's it. And you to understand, and how they understand and know that what they said registered to you is you'll say, "Babe, so what you're telling me is this."
Yep. They
And
just
come
want you to hear them.
and followed by a soft word, a confirmation of "I got you."
Yep. Yep.
And so that
Sometimes that's all, because when we think about it, that's human, right? That's
yeah,
human. You're
yeah.
human. And a lot of times, again, we get so caught up in the difference between a man and a woman that we forget that at the end of the day, we are human. So just as much as we're human and we have emotions, and a man's built like that too. They have emotions and they have fears, and they have.
We feel deeply. Yeah, we
Yeah,
feel deeply as
we feel
well.
deeply. Men feel deeply, and we have to raise women, right? Because we both have to coexist, men and women. And so we have to raise our women, our girls, to create that space, right? To allow for the men in their lives, whether it's their fathers, their brothers, their uncles, their cousins, because that's really where it starts, right? To create that space for the men in their lives to be vulnerable, and for the men in their lives to think that, to know and understand that it is okay. I can be a shoulder, right? I can be a soft spot sometimes if that's necessary. Let's talk about it. Let
We
me
would
give you a
never.
personal example. I just had a conversation with my
Mhm.
brother, I want to say about 3 days ago,
Okay.
about an hour and a half conversation. And, we were talking about some challenges that we've had as siblings, me and him, challenges in communication and stuff like that. We each have our own perspective and we walk away mad. And, we were kind of talking about that. And we touched on we touched on an issue that has been ongoing for the past maybe 3, 4 years. And for the first time, I was able to see it from his perspective because I decided I was going to enter that conversation with listening ears, right? I was going to enter that conversation intentionally to listen to what he had to say. And I'm glad I did. And I want to kick myself for not listening a long time ago,
Soon enough. Yeah.
because he explained to me that it's two of us that are older. Me and my sister are older, and he's the third one, and he's younger than us both. And he expressed that all his life growing up, he just kind of felt like he was in our shadow, and he was always being compared to, well, why don't you do it like your sisters, and why aren't you this like your sisters, and why aren't you that like your sisters, and he had just gotten to a point where he was just sick of it. He was just sick of it, and so it manifested in these issues that we ended up having. And I looked at and I said to him, I said, bro, you know what, I'm gonna be honest, I apologize. I am very sorry that you had to lash out before we were able to ever have this conversation, because me and my sister, my older sister, we've talked
Mhm.
about it before. Oh, he's so strong, he lets nothing phases him, nothing, he lets nothing bother him, he's so even keel, when all along there was this turmoil that was happening inside, right? That he didn't feel safe enough to
Yeah.
put it out there before it all boiled over. And that we were wrong for that. And those are some of the cycles that we have to break, especially within our family units. We have to create that space within our family units for our men to feel that they're able to kind of decompress, when the pressure is becoming too high, even if it's just pressure that exists within their family.
Yeah. You definitely, it definitely talked about the safe space. That safe space, we were never given that safe space to express our feelings without judgment. Uh, uh, and that's when isolation, emotional isolation, it doesn't just affect the individual. It affects the families. It affect the relationships. It affect friendships. It affect communities. Um, you know what I'm saying? So it's just the expectation. I'm just stuck on that alone. Just the expectation. Go ahead, the
It's
expectations alone.
even from and when I say cultural standpoint, I'm not just talking about where people from. Even from a black cultural standpoint, just think about it, Lex. Like even when we played football, basketball, um, the expectation was for us to not complain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it was, and not saying that, because I mean, those sports are real competitive, and you do have to kind of be, a rock in those spaces. But um, from hearing that from your family and being brought up in that, and then you go into this next arena where you're trying to achieve and in sports and stuff like that, and you hear the same thing, because you hear the same thing resonating.
Right. Hey, see, look,
Um,
Crystal got to go. Hey, Crystal, we appreciate y'all. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for joining us. Hey, we're gonna give a round of applause for Crystal joining us, giving
Thanks,
women
Chris.
respect. That
Appreciate you.
yeah. See.
Thanks for having me,
Oh,
guys.
I can do one better, Crystal.
Yickety. Appreciate you. Hey,
Appreciate you.
listen.
Thanks for
It's
having me, guys.
it's good to have a
Good to
queen
have
like yourself on like that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. You taking the time.
Thank you.
So yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
we.
that's that. Yeah, you spot on, man. That's it's rough, man. It is rough as we continue to go down this road as providers, as protectors, as you know that the leader of the house. It's rough. So we may not say it, but oftentimes we lean on that support from our significant other, and not so much as we talked about it briefly last week with Reverend Newton. Was we have enough pressure just when we step out of the threshold of our door, because we're preparing ourselves mentally to deal with the world, because our home's supposed to be our domicile, supposed to be our place of zen, supposed to be our place of qualm, supposed to be our place of peace. And so when we leave here, when we leave our home and we go out into the world, we're not we're not of the world, we're not in there, but we go out into our world. We're mentally trying to prepare ourselves for the challenges, the stab you in the backs, the bickering, the false narrative that Crystal was just talking about. We're mentally preparing ourselves, and I can truly say that's where they got that from, that whole armor before we step out. It's rough, and I just want our women to understand it's rough. It's rough for us mentally because we don't have that outlet. So that does affect our mental space, our mental psyche. It affects that because we're dealing with that so much we're building inside of us. Sorry, you was going to a point, and I cut you off because we had to let Crystal go.
Nah,
Definitely
that's
appreciate
fine.
you coming on.
That's fine. Like I mean, it was another point before she left, right? That I was gonna make. Is do you understand just by being taught that we had to be strong and that we couldn't cry, and to Crystal's point that she made, where you had to be at certain financial stability to be able to handle a woman, or come to the table to be able to woo a woman. Do you imagine how many soulmates was probably missed because of that? How many people that who was probably meant to be together probably was not together because of the embarrassment of the man being in a certain position at that time in his life, where he couldn't face up to that woman because of that expectation. I think about that, and when Crystal was actually speaking about that, it's just how many, now we're fortunate enough to find who we with and be happy with. But could you imagine how many people out there probably miss their soulmate because
All
of that?
because of that. Yeah. All
Yeah.
because of that. That's deep right there, because it was and you know what, that you right, because now that I sit and think about that, it was, well, why didn't that work out? Oh, it's because my mom and dad didn't approve of that because of what
Yeah.
their family, they was in a single parent house, or
Mm-hmm.
it was something crazy to that effect, that your your parents didn't approve because, because his dad was a garbage man.
Mm-hmm.
Or or something. It was something crazy to that effect. That you could have lost a chance for, like you said, a soulmate or somebody that you could have built something
Mm-hmm.
together, built an empire together.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that premature judgment, you ain't give nobody a chance. You judging the book by its cover, and you didn't give that person a chance. And that's crazy, but that's those are facts.
And it's been plenty times. I mean, just right here in Florida, I've heard a lot of ladies that I know that have spoke of, you talk about and not to bring any. You talk about the celebrities who've come out of either Florida or anywhere else. You have a lot of women who knew that person when they was coming up and and never gave that person a chance, and that person was and now that they're huge and they say, oh, I used to know that person, and they was good people, but you never gave them a chance because when they was coming up, they didn't have this or they didn't have that, or at the time, this other guy over here, you know what I'm saying, who had the Porsche or the Bentley, you know what I'm saying, looked like a better candidate, but never really looked inside that person to see the potential and the ambition that was inside of them. And now that they're huge, like, oh crap, I knew that person, So
That's definitely spot on right there. You can just think back to those folks. Like, a lot of folks remember me growing up. I don't remember them because they don't look the same.
Right.
I don't know. I don't remember them because they don't look the same. I don't remember, I can't fathom that face. I don't remember. I don't know who that is. Hey,
Right.
I don't remember. But I can't say unfortunately. Everybody says, "Oh, you still look the same." Well, yeah, I'm that same person. Same person now. But I say all that to talk about. We talked about the pressure, right, and providing. And oftentimes, when you think about providing, what Crystal said is what you can do for me. That's not all. That's not. That's not always the case. Is what you can do for me.
Right.
Providing is not only financially, it's emotional security, physical protection, is leadership, is stability. And so when she said that hit home, because I'm like, that's the first thing everybody realize. The difference between a man and a woman. When a woman is approached by a man, it's more so of what he can do for her.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do for me? See, no. Now, when a man is approached by a woman, what often goes through a man's head when a man is approached by a woman?
I mean, when a man is approached by a woman, a lot of times we're basically looking at the caliber of that woman, like. Not necessarily what she can do, but what caliber is she? Is she's a gospel? Is she messy? Is she, you know what I'm saying? Like we think about the caliber of that woman. It's not necessarily what she brings to the table.
Right. So you see how polar opposites that is, that when you approach a woman, how that is, as opposed to when a woman approaches a man, it's what you're assessing. You know what I'm saying? And even if she don't have the money, you're looking at potential. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at like you say, what caliber, gossip, messy, clean, all that, all of that stuff.
It's all character based.
All
You know what I'm saying?
character-based. All
It's
character.
all character based. What is your character? That's why a lot of times we sit there and and I'm talking about real men. We talking about real men here. You know what I'm saying? Because we all played the young games back in the day, but we talking about having that serious conversation with that woman, and that's why we sit there and have a conversation. We have a conversation because we want to know what's in your head. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We want to know what's in your head, how you think about this, how you think about this, how you think about politics, how you think about cars, how you think about working, how you think about, it's like it's a whole host of things that we try to figure out because we want to know what caliber are you? What caliber of a woman are you?
Here go the other secret too, though. The other secret.
Put it
too.
out there.
You've been tested.
Mm-hmm.
You're being tested. And what you're being tested is to see what type of person you are. Watch this. To see if we go to a restaurant and I say, oh man, I think I love just to see what your reaction is. If your reaction is, oh hell no, this, that, and other.
Yeah. So and it is and it is a test. It is a test. Now,
watch this. You can even watch this. I can even have the money to pay for it, but if you say, "Oh hell no," and go through all this long, drawn out,
because now we know when the times get rough,
you gonna crack.
Now you go crack. You done already crack over this $20 meal.
Yeah.
So when we got this $1,200, $2,800 bill over our head, you know what I'm saying? Run, Forrest, run. That's where you're gonna be. So that's how we view things. You know what I'm saying? We view that caliber, that character.
That's that character. Now, on the flip hand, if I say, "Oh man, I think I left my wallet," oh, okay, no problem. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a test. It's all a test. Are you gonna take me out on a date, or I'm taking you out on a date? Because sometimes it's supposed to balance out. It's supposed to balance out. Well, now I ain't gonna say sometimes. It's supposed to balance out. I'm gonna take you out. You're gonna take me out. That cliche, the man always supposed to pay. No problem. We got no problem doing it. But oftentimes we want that date too. We want you to take us out on a date, pick us up. I ain't gonna say open the car door for us, but pick up.
You ain't gotta do all that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We still gotta keep a little masculinity.
Yeah.
You know.
But that providing again is just not financially. It's emotional. It's physical protection. It's stability. It's leadership. But the part that rarely gets discussed is what happens when a man feels pressure to provide going into that 9. While still trying to heal and grow and figure out life out himself. That creates internal conflict because society often measures a man by success and output to that what you can do for me. There we go again. We're about to hear that a lot. But rarely checks their emotional capacity or support system, their accountability growth. And this conversation isn't about removing accountability. Accountability matters in every community. Health communication matters. Emotional maturity matters. Responsible decision making matters. Growth is necessary. But accountability and support can exist at the same time. Holding someone accountable doesn't mean ignoring their struggles. And supporting someone doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. Balance is where real progress happens. So real talk. Again, what pressure do you feel that people don't talk about? That's for the men. And what do you feel most support in? And now for the women, what you think black men need support in, more support in? And what is something that you admire about uh, a black man that don't get enough recognition? But saying that, C-Note, wanna wanna ask something directly. When was the last time you checked on? Ask the audience. When the last time you checked on a black man and asked, "How is he really doing?"
Wow.
Because oftentimes, watch this. Oftentimes, you know what? We can be going through something. C-Note, myself, we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you good? Yeah. But I know you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you're
Yeah.
not. It's me opening that door to say, hey man, if you need to talk about it,
I'm here.
talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is and that's again, that's from a man perspective. I gotta say it from a man perspective, because if a woman say, hey, you're good, sometime that ain't the right time, or
Mm-hmm.
sometime is just not the conversation. I'm trying to find the right way of putting that uh, without saying the wrong thing. It's not. It's something that I'm dealing with that I kind of need a man's perspective on it, or a man to hear me, because they may or may not have gone through it before, or may have some advice, or another lane that I can go in that'll help me emotionally.
So and with that, because and once again, I want to be very careful, but also unfiltered as we can be. When coming from a man perspective, if you have another man ask you that, 9 times out of 10, you know that once you start, unloading the issues, there are going to be certain elements that that man is going to understand that that woman will not. And that's just and I'm coming from a place where all men, or most men, especially the one I know, and I'm around, most men are logical thinkers. We're very logical. When we're working something out, we're logical, even though we have that emotional side, and we need that emotional side to have a safe space. Most of the times when we're working things out in our head, we're logical about it. We're not emotional about it. So to open up, and you to your point, Lex, like when you say, when a woman says, "Hey, you can talk," a lot of times that's an emotional safe space that she's talking about, not the logical safe space, because that goes back to the point you made, where we're not looking for a rebuttal. We're not looking for an answer. We're not looking for, because we've already running these plays in our head.
Yeah.
So the
We're
difference
looking for a
between,
debate.
yeah, we're not looking for a debate, and we know with a man we're not gonna get that debate.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get that. We're gonna get that logical support. And if anything, and you done it to me, like, you've actually said, "Hey, have you looked into this? We're solution based."
Yeah.
So and it's not a judgmental type of place where you're entering in. It's more of a, okay, bro, I'm gonna try to help my best to help you with the solution. Now, the other part to that is because we already sense where you coming from, so sometimes we like, man, I feel you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's like it's nothing else to say at that point. It's just,
Right, damn,
bro. Yeah,
talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I know where you're coming from. And sometimes that may be a open door to kind of share a moment, like you said. Maybe you have went through that, maybe you haven't. But if you have went through it, that's that moment to share that. And you know, we kind of iron sharpen iron at a moment. And now I hear what you went through, and that might just give me a epiphany to, wow, you know what? Maybe I need to do this.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. And that's that thing. And like I said, I wanted to be careful. We also we're trying to be careful, but we also being unfiltered. It's not that we don't trust you. It's not that because and this is to your partner, to your significant other, that is not the case at all. The case is I can go to C note with no judgment, and I can say, bruh, this, and he'd be like, damn, yeah. And so when it's damn, yeah, it's now that you're running through your head, like, all right, let me see, kind of. Now let me look on that creative side, and first of all, let me think, did that happen to me? And kind of how did I got past that? Or if it did happen to me, I know exactly what you're talking about. And now here's the solution. Or if I don't have the solution, guess what? Or the answer, we're going to work this out together.
Right.
We're going to work it out together. And it's no judgment. And that's the thing. The gloves are, it ain't no judgment. We're talking about it uncut, unfiltered. Hey, y'all, this talking black. This talking black. So when a man asks, or I just put this out there to anybody, to anyone. When the last time you checked on a black man and you asked how he's really doing, and he says, I'm good, or I'm straight. But a real check-in. And if you're a real black man listening now, when was the last time you felt safe enough to answer that question honestly? Because sometimes strength is being strong for everyone else. And sometimes strength is admitting when you need support too.
Yeah.
So this you touched on this, or you and Crystal touched on that mental state. Just being, the trauma that you touched on last week that folks are scared to say. I think you said that's one of those soft words. Trauma, cry. I can't do it. What? Right now. The woman asks you such and such, because you've been doing it the entire time, and you finally say, I can't do it. Perception is you're weak. Perception is you done gave up. Now is, well, what happened? You did it, last week, or you did it last month, or you did it last year. And so I think the answer or the rebuttal to that, if I can't do it, the rebuttal to it shouldn't be, well, what you did it it shouldn't be an all right bantering. It shouldn't be an off with the head moment.
But see, that's when they call you inconsistent. You could be on point You know what I'm saying? 8 months out of the year, but you know what I'm saying? That 1 or 2 months when you fall on your behind, or life be life, and then now you inconsistent.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, it's a real thing now. Like if you can't do it now, then that means you're inconsistent. You know, so yeah. So I just had to drop that in there real quick because you.
No, yeah, but that's true though. You become inconsistent. Here we go again. Uh, uh, Bringing up something way off the wall. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's is me and you. If it's me and you in this together, if it's me and you in this together, there are certain things, because there are certain things as in a woman's conversation, when a woman talking to their girls, you're not going to share with us.
No.
You're not going to share with us. That's girl talk.
Mm-hmm.
And we respect those, boundaries. In terms of girl talk, we respect those boundaries. Same as when men are talking. We're talking because that iron sharpens iron mentality, that that I'm talking to C Note because C Note may or may not have gone through what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And he may know somebody that has gone through it, and this is what they did. Or know of somebody that when it's always a channel when men are talking, there's always a channel, and again, there's no judgment, but that 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 emotional, that mental health. Um, we talk about how the black man, the community needs the black man. So as a consequence and as a result is healthy communities require emotionally healthy men and emotionally healthy woman and an emotionally healthy family.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional health starts with honest conversations, not blame, not silence, not stereotypes, just truth. So I'm gonna say this. Uh, I want to thank Crystal for joining, giving her perspective, giving a woman's perspective, and actually telling us what she admired most about a black man. I think that was key coming from a black woman. That was key because we're hearing from a woman's perspective. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and and I mean she hit home with some stuff, but always understand that a strong man controls their emotions, and not that they uh, don't want to share with their significant other, but they control it, because we as black men, we still stand on that and hold that uh, expectation weight. We hold that expectation weight because when we fail, ain't nobody coming to save us. When we fall down, ain't nobody coming to pick us up. We got to dust ourselves off, get back up. A strong black man, dust
Mm-hmm.
ourselves off and get back up and head and try it again. So, but resilience shouldn't be the end road. Resilience shouldn't be the end road. I'm gonna say this uh, in closing. Chris, you got something though?
No, man. I mean, go ahead, close it on out. I mean, we had some. We did have some news we wanted to share. I know,
Oh
but
no, no,
this
we gonna
was,
share that.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
we can
yeah.
share that. We can
But
share that. We definitely share that. Hold up. We gonna hey, we do have something. I just thought about that. We do have something. But I just want to say this: supporting black men isn't about ignoring accountability. It's about recognizing humanity. It's about allowing strength to include healing, uh, allowing leadership to include vulnerability, allowing protection to include emotional safety, because strong men aren't the ones who feel nothing. Strong men are the ones who learn how to carry emotions without letting them destroy them. And maybe the real progress is we need isn't changing expectation. Maybe is expanding them, because strength should always include space to heal. This is Talking Black and Current, where culture meets conversation and truth meets growth. We're gonna show a video real quick. You want to give a narrative on
So
this?
basically, to all our viewers, just like you said, this is Talking Black and Current. We want to talk about some of the most current things, and one of the things that affects our community is, how we view our celebrities and their views, and I want to encourage everybody to, do your own research when it comes to, political matters and things of that nature. So is Nick Cannon. So Nick, basically exposed himself, and that he basically, he said he fucks with Trump. So this video is him having a interview with Amber Rose, and basically, yeah. So we'll see y'all on the other side of it.
Then, of course, that was this clip of Nick Cannon in interviewing MAGA lover Amber Rose.
Part of the Republican Party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now? Or?
Not even close, not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
and they don't care about people, they don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I honestly, I don't subscribe to either party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
yeah, I mean, look, listen, I'm not married to any party.
Right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options, and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Cleaning house.
Yeah.
He
But
doing what he said he was
guess
gonna
what?
do.
If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah. We got the Gulf of America now.
Period.
Charging, he's like the club. He's charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen.
Man, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
So this is the thing, right? And so, like, our biggest problem when it comes to politics is when people talk about, black political history, they skip context and they jump straight into party names, and history isn't that simple. So the Democratic Party back then that Nick Cannon was basically quoting about E. Du Bois, that Democratic Party was totally different than the Democratic Party we have today. It's the same as the Republican Party in the 1800s. It's not the same Republican Party back in the day, because if you don't understand, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Southern strategy, then the conversation about which party is which is incomplete. So, I do want to, and we talk about Black and Current, I do want to basically talk about how, You had this, you had the slavery era, which was 1865. This was before the Civil War. Democratic Party was largely the party of the South, and the Southern economic depended on slavery. So the Republican Party was formed in the 1850s, and it was anti-slavery. And Abraham Lincoln was the Republican that came up in that. Then you had a Reconstruction in 1865 to 1877 after slavery ended. Then the Reconstruction, black people actually gained political power at this time. You had black senators, black congressmen. You also had black local officials, mostly under the Republican Reconstruction government in the South. So then you had another Reconstruction, which was the Jim Crow era. Mm-hmm. This is where you bring the Southern Democrats versus the Northern Democrats. But then the Reconstruction, when it ended in 1877, when it became Jim Crow, it started in the South, and this is where people miss, the big part of the history. The Democratic Party was split. You had the Southern Democrats and you had the normal Democrats, and then and they was pretty much the same political party. Southern Democrats were segregationists. The Northern Democrats were more urban, more immigrant based, and politically different. So that's when you have to shift. When you start talking about history, and I think that a lot of people need to research the history and how all that happened. And one day we can actually, have a show on that just kind of run down, on the history, because I think a lot of that is lost, and that's why we have a lot of people, especially black people, that's not voting.
Yeah.
And the quote that Nick quoted E.D. Boys at that time, and people can go back and watch that Roland Martin episode. But Roland Martin explains it that at that point, at that time, it was the Democrats at the time couldn't be trusted. So this is why he was saying that it was no two parties, it was just two evil parties, because you had Republicans that was, with slavery, and, they were segregationists. And then you had the Democrats who had the same thing. So we still have, sort of the same thing today. However, we have to vote for the lesser evil. So where are we going to get that support? Where black people interest is, it definitely is not the Republican Party, because we see where that is going, because the Republican Party and Mr. Orange Man is definitely trying to gut out the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And a lot of people and a lot of our people need to recognize that is going on. And so we have to, vote on our interests. So we can get in that. That's a lot to unpack there, but I just wanted to kind of give what that was, and as far as my views on this particular news. And the thing is, Nick Cannon has a lot of followers. And, he has a lot of people that look up to him and see him as a very strong voice in the black community. And I truly feel, in my opinion, that, a lot of times when celebrities, say stuff like that, they got to be mindful that they need to do their history. They need to know their history and all of it, the complete history, and not take anything out of context. Even though that was his personal view, that was his personal opinion, I feel like that we all, and that goes to what we're talking about, Lex, is that pressure and that expectation for us to be perfect. Yeah. Not that I want to judge Nick on anything, but just like us, even with this podcast, it's the expectation for us to be not only unfiltered, but us to be truthful. And for us, when we're talking about things, not to take things out of context, but but expose the truth within the context. So, and I'll rest on that.
No, man, that's well said. Well said. Excuse me.
Bless
Definitely
you.
well said. Do you think that? Do you think he? And so that's probably one of celebrities I didn't meet, and I've met a lot. That's one of the guys that I didn't meet, and so I'm against the fence. I don't know if it's clout that he's trying to get. Is it he wants because they know it's televised. They know it's going to go viral. They know it's going to go. Do he want that interview with Kimball and those guys because they're gonna question him on it? Is that a viral moment to say, oh yeah, this is what as opposed to, like you said, to your point with not doing your research and saying some off the wall stuff like KKK and all. I'm like, what is going? Like, come. Are we living today's society? Are we living in today's world, or are we back there?
So, I think it has a lot to do with what you just mentioned, Lex. Like, I think it has a lot to do because now these days, people do things for likes, views. And if they can have a trigger word in there or something like that will go viral because he did. Mm-hmm. He did exactly what, and I think that is an element in it. But I also think that he needs to recognize that it is a responsibility as a public figure. And a black figure in the community, that when you say those things, you have 12 years old, 15 years old, you have 18-year-old, 20 years old that's looking at you and listening to what you're saying and take that out of context. And that might be that 20-year-old that don't go vote because of that. That might be that 18-year-old that don't go vote because of that, and not show their power within their voice because of that one thing you just said. But you got rewarded, you got your likes, you got your views, you went viral, but at what cost? What did it cost? What did it cost the future? So that's just kind of my take on it. To your question.
Well put. There. Well put. I'm gonna drop one more video before we get up out of here.
All right, cool.
Right now. Right now. Yeah, right now. Right now. Check it out. It's hot.
Next on Talking Black and Current.
Black men, pressure, perception, and reality. Black men are often expected to be strong, fearless, providers, protectors, leaders, but rarely do we talk about what that pressure actually feels like. Society stereotypes black men, media portrays black men, communities depend on black men, but how often do black men get space to just be human?
Sponsorships and paid promotions available. Partner with Talkin Black and Current.
Daddy Dollars. Trip flow on the house. And that's a dirt bike.
Hey, listen. If you, if y'all felt, go ahead. My
No,
fault.
I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Reed in the chat. We saw you. We had this conversation going on, and I seen Lex had put up a lot of your, and we appreciate you for sticking with us and hearing everything out, and we thank you for your input. Because it's, we need more input like that. So I ask you to share the live, share the information, because we got more topics to come. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Reed in the chat, and we appreciate you.
Hey, listen, y'all don't forget to check out the Standard Initiative podcast. My boy Martinez Rowe, he's the host of that. It's on Wednesdays. At 6:30, and is definitely a show to watch.
Martinez,
Definitely a
what's
show to
up,
watch,
Wade?
man. Go ahead and check that out on Wednesdays. And yeah, shout out to old Everton Reed. Man, listen, keep your head up. We always here. If you need anything. But just keep your head up. Now, we were talking about going and closing out and doing, doing that. But hey, if y'all think that this particular topic, men, black men, pressure, perception, and reality, if that did you something, go ahead, keep following, share, subscribe, follow us. We're here every Saturday, 6:30 to 6:30 to till we run out of time. 6:30 we run out of time, and we ran out of time. We just ran over. But just check us out. We got something big coming up. May 2nd, y'all will see some promos coming out. May 2nd, we're gonna be live in Fort Lauderdale. May 2nd, live in Fort Lauderdale. It's gonna be a first of the first. First of the first. Two podcast shows collabing together, and it's for the same goal. It's for the same goal. Two podcasts collabing together. That's the Standard Initiative and Talking Black and Current. May 2nd, live in Fort Lauderdale, 6:30. We're gonna be live. Don't want to miss it. It's gonna be an open panel. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna have some special guests coming through. We need y'all to tune in, stay locked, save the date, don't be late. Need y'all to tap in on us. Go ahead, if you had something.
Nah, hey, I was gonna let you close out because what I'm saying, it sounded like a quiet storm. It was close. So
Yeah, the clock on the wall said that's no. That's all I got.
I was waiting.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all locking in.
Yeah.
Definitely, this show is about engagement. It's about talking black and current and talking about today's topic. Talking about, especially today, giving you that perspective from a black man on what we think and how we think and everything like that. Because I think oftentimes you don't know. So now you know. Let's take that, use it, don't abuse it, because that's how black men shut down and go silent. We need our mental health. We need our mental state because we need to go out the next day and deal with the world. So our home should be our safe place, should be our zen, should be our place of qualm, our place of zen, our place of peace. And so, oftentimes we need that significant other or that mate, or to give us that support and just give us being there and making sure you understand what you're saying. When you're talking, it's what you're saying. I got you. And that's what the spiritual also. We can take That's all I got. Go ahead, Chris. Hey, y'all. Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?